So, showed y'all before, took that cover that was originally here. So I took it off, and you see how there's no fiberglass, no sealer, nothing, and it's starting to split right there and everything. That's why it's important, if you're going to use plywood, you have to seal it, regardless of where it is or what. So they did not do this, so luckily this is not actually rotten. It has started to rot. So now I have to go through and fiberglass from top here all the way underneath, all the way around after I sanded it. You can see I've already sanded it, cleaned it off. So another thing I have to fix. Oh, right now we're putting on the tough coat deck paint on the side. You can see there's some of it. Yesterday I put on the tough coat high grade primer, which was interesting. It comes on clear, but it's also got these bubbles and ridges and everything to help with the deck paint. So just gotta go all the way around. This one mocked up real quickly. I mean, it's pretty simple. It is 20 inches wide, 2 foot tall here, I think 28 inches tall up here. After looking at it, we're probably going to, if we go with this design, cut it back to probably about right here, straight down, come off with a little shelf, little flat area right here. That way it gives us more deck room, more storage right here, which I'm not sure what that's going to be in the future if I deck this out, so we'll leave that alone. But while I was getting that put together, I had another idea involving this piece. So we're going to mock up a different design, and we might go with that design. So stay tuned. So put together the new design, had a little bit more cutting than I thought, but I actually like this design better. Gets me kind of lower, takes up less room than that other one. Although it's not as tall as I'd like to, I might have an issue standing up and driving. I can get a taller steering wheel. Steering wheel was more of a that sits up here instead of down there. And I think I'll have enough room for my steering cables and everything. It'll be easier for me because of the control box on my outboard is actually a side mount, not a center console mount. Saves me about 150 bucks to buy one. So we're probably going to go with this design. After lunch we're going to probably cut up the other one, make the front for this, screw it together. We might go get some 90-degree clamps. We probably will. So strengthen it. We will put a front on here, a top. The top we're going to cut about 4 inches off here, at least on this one side. And we might end up putting a bow underneath there, just so I have room for my knees and everything. That ice chest will probably actually become my seat in here. It's cheap, it's easy, I have it. So we'll look at some mounting hardware for it, but that's probably going to be what that is. So have that. Then whenever we tie the deck in, because we're going to move the deck to where it's right here, as you can see where that one is, we'll still have our rod holder over here, which will go through this, the bottom part of this. Top part will be a day pack. We'll have this section in front of we'll have a small box over there for tackle, I guess. And although we probably won't do it, we might end up putting a fuel tank up here. Been looking at it, thinking about trying to put some big gunnels on here so that I can just walk down here. And in the future, if because I'm thinking about, I'm gonna put this as far over as possible. I'm not gonna finish this. I'm gonna get it together, get it fiberglassed, but I'm not going to finish it, put a hole in it until I get my steering system, because I'll put this as far over as possible so I can eventually go from the side mount control to a top mount control that sits right here, so that I have this completely cleared off. And this might get moved out a little bit farther in reality, just because I'm thinking about making some wide gunnels on, like you see on flash boats and other things, to so I can walk down here if I have to. Although I still gotta step around it a little bit, it won't be as bad. And from here back, I will probably put a deck. I might have a seat in the future that comes out here. So this will all hopefully all be decked. The front will be decked. Only this section between these two stringers, I guess, will be non-decked, but they'll still be 4-inch gunnels, something wide enough you can stand on. So that's probably the plan going forward. So out here working on the boat and everything, never really showed y'all, I probably should have, but the strap down eye that goes right here, I'll show you, goes in that hole. I had a nut that was stuck on it halfway, or almost entire length off. You can see it wouldn't come off no matter what I did, so I just ground the bolt off. I'll buy another one, but the section here that was real cracked and rotten looking, and it really was rotten. So the way these work for the lifting eyes generally, since it's just fiberglass there to put less stress on the hole itself, they have a core piece that goes in right here. As you can see, this little area is kind of sealed off from the rest of it. The fiberglass has a piece of wood in as a core, and that actually provides a lot more strength to it. But unfortunately, the person who had done it, had put a carbon washers on one of them, and like this one's galvanized, so the bolt rusted. Because another reason is because this bolt hole is egg-shaped. Show you the other one. The other one's actually, they're both egg-shaped. So whenever they put it in, they didn't put a whole bunch. They didn't put any epoxy seal or whatever you call it, that kind of stuff on it, and it caused the water to come around it. Here, so this went up in here. Imagine it going, there it goes. But because they didn't, you can see just a little, you can see the bolt still. So water was coming in that, which caused this wood to rot, the wooden core. So now I have to cut it out, sand this down, put in a new core, and then, then I have to fiberglass all over it. So just a little bit more work. Had a slight issue on the jack plate I'm putting in here, but that's already been resolved. So I gotta get longer bolts for my jack plate no matter what. Was planning on having the motor on mounting the motor today, but that didn't work. So I have this issue with this part of my boat. My transom is flat and level at a 90 degrees to the ground. This is at a sloped angle, this angle here, which creates an issue of, here, I'll show you. See that gap? small issue really. A couple ways to fix it is to sand this down, which I'm not doing, or put a spacer out on this one to where it's more in line, which is what we're gonna do. I gotta buy another spacer to fix that. I also gotta get longer bolts, as you can see. So that's gonna kind of suck, because I kind of have to wait on a spacer to finish this part up. It really annoys me. So that's that. All right, so I did another change on the console. So I got a picture I'll show you later where this resin before I sandwiched it. I have 2 pieces of 1/2 inch exterior grade plywood, so you can see. I cut them out. They're both 6 inches. Both of them are just about lined up perfectly, a little bit here and there. So, and what I did was coated the inside, the non-sanded side, with epoxy resin, and then I coated a sheet of fiberglass with epoxy. Put the sheet of the fiberglass in between the 2 pieces of console, squished them together with clamps. Then I went through and screwed these galvanized 3/4 inch deck screws. Get these at home at Tractor Supply. I highly suggest them. To squish out all the juices and everything, I'm probably gonna put one more right here just cause. So let that sit up for an hour or so. We'll come back and trim all this off, this excess off, clean up the sides because I didn't get it lined up just right, which I'm not happy with, but I got it lined up pretty close. So get that trimmed up, and it's gonna go right over here, and we're just gonna have a side mount console going straight off the gunnels. It's 6 inches wide and 20 inches long. I made it to where it sits down and directly over this. So I'll have a support piece coming out here, one coming out here, and we might end up putting another piece out here at the edge. It just depends on how much strength I have. So not gonna encase this one in fiberglass all the way around. What I'm gonna do is, after I get this all trimmed off, I will come back with fiberglass resin, coat the after I get everything trimmed up. You can see it right there. I get it all trimmed up. I will come around it with that 6 inch piece of fiberglass cloth. I'll drape it over the sides, take care of most of everything except the center. The center I will coat real heavily with a resin, so it just makes it stronger. So it'll still be waterproof and everything. The steering wheel is going to sit out just about right here, hopefully. That's where I want it to sit out. I can have it a little closer because in the future I might put a top mounted control box for the motor right here, but at the bare minimum I'm going to have a box for switches right here. So all in all, it'll look pretty cool.